Cooperative Governance and Conventional Affairs Minister, Nkosazana Zuma's daughter with the previous president, Jacob Zuma, has in the end weighed in on age problem being flagged as a trouble amongst the ones vying for ANC presidency. Zuma argues that there appear to be an apathy toward her mother, Nkosazana Zuma, who's 73 years vintage, whilst the identical isn't being stated approximately Cyril Ramaphosa, who's 70 years vintage. Several ANC comrades were declaring that Nkosazana Zuma have to simply surrender as she is now vintage. However, the identical humans are pronouncing Cyril Ramaphosa have to retain to steer, regardless that he's additionally vintage. It is this contradiction which has triggered Zuma to elevate this problem. A 73 12 months vintage girl is vintage, and a 70 12 months vintage guy isn't vintage. It is fine in South Africa, she stated. It is apparent that Zuma is hitting return to the ones calling for Minister Nkosazana Zuma to surrender due to age. Tony and Jenny stated the ones humans are loopy, who assume Nkosazana Zuma is just too vintage to contest for ANC presidency. However, Cyril Ramaphosa isn't vintage to contest. Social critics are but now no longer shopping for it, and informed Zuma that she can't pressure any other Zuma down humans' throats, regardless of what happens. You need to pressure feed the humans any other Zuma, so you can gain like you probably did with the preceding Zuma mistake. Whether she became 30-40 no greater Zuma mistake, never ever. Shame the chest is painting, 73 12 months, and not using a assist and a 70 12 months vintage with 8 provinces assist. You notice the difference, even if you're a Zuma, those numbers have to be easy for you, a few stated. Nkosazana Zuma no matter the sturdy grievance, she is hopeful that she can be able to emerge triumphant on the ANC convention in December. Again, Zuma Sambudla is popularly recognized to maximum South Africans as a daughter of former President Jacob Zuma. She has currently concerned herself on ANC issues, throwing her remarks haphazardly on organizational topics without a position. Nkosazana invited poor grievance to his father, Msholozi, whilst she made reckless comments on social media, pronouncing that she would not assume Big Nose has ever examined the Freedom Charter. As a guiding file of the ANC throughout the combat in opposition to apartheid, maximum South Africans is aware of approximately the Freedom Charter. I do not assume Big Nose has ever examined the Freedom Charter, Nkosazana published on her timeline on Friday afternoon. Her submit grabbed public attention, but the responses were what she desired. People asked Nkosazana to redirect her mind and get her data straight. One person informed he that she is outwardly questioning wrong. He hasn't simply examined the Liberty Constitution, however examined for a diploma in regulation as well. She became reminded of the way her father, who became as soon as a president, struggled with preferred 2. Some humans known as her father a preferred 2 Domkop, pronouncing that she have to consciousness on giving him numerical lessons. The remarks on Nkosazana submit have been ordinarily directed to Jacob Zuma, as a few even introduced the bathe problem. And what does bathe had consider all of your questions today? Dries van der Wal commented. Lifapang stated that what he's seemingly like approximately him, Big Nose, is that he isn't a rapist, and has by no means been accused of rape, in contrast to individuals who cannot examine however, have been accused of rape. Others went on to suggest that the modern-day charter is stimulated via way of means of the Liberty Charter. And as a person who became concerned with inside the drafting of the charter, they might anticipate that he in reality examine it. The fact of the problem is that due to the fact Nkosazana is only a no one in politics, whilst ever she makes reckless errors, it's Miles his father who will go through the fate. Nkosazana is understood to the general public as Jacob Zuma's daughter and not anything else. Maybe she have to chorus from throwing tantrums to spare his father the trouble. In politics one might also additionally range and dislike a person else, however to disrespect her or him is irresponsible and immature. The so known as Big Nose is a person's husband or wife, a father or mother, grandfather or grandmother, and a person has the audacity to belittle and frame disgrace them on a public platform.